Welcome back to Animal Crossing New Horizons. I'm Day Darling, as you see what's going on on our lovely island of Fawnhallow today. We've been relaxing as per usual. Just recording Animal Crossing now before I go join my friends in watching a bit of Squid Game. We're currently watching episode 4, which I've already watched. I watched a little bit ahead. You had to forgive me for it because it's honestly very good. Like it's the same thing where every single time, you know, I'm like, oh, I don't want to watch a TV series, I don't want to watch a movie, even if it's like really highly recommended or whatever. And when I start watching it, I'm like, oh damn, it's actually pretty good. Good evening, everyone. Right now in Fawnhallow, it's 7:47 p.m. on Thursday, January 23rd, 2025, and I'm very much someone who likes to space out the watching of episodes. I don't tend to favour doing it all in one day, in my personal opinion. But you know, I know not everyone necessarily agrees with that sentiment. So slowly. But yeah, again, I'm not going to talk about Squid Game in this entirety until I think it's all over. Then there'll probably be like a flood about these sort of things. But yeah, what can we talk about today? You know what we can talk about today? Is there something which I saw on Reddit, which I didn't even realise was a thing, which is honestly crazy. But there are like one-time use portable chargers or something, which this person had. I don't know. They posted a Reddit. It was like mildly infuriating or whatever. And they were just like, "Oh, I didn't read it properly," and then tried to charge my phone, didn't work. Turns out it was a one-time use phone charger, and which is honestly seems a little absurd to me. Like I didn't even know there were one-time use phone chargers. That seems like a very extreme example of something which is not built to fail. What's the term? Like planned obsolescence, right? You know, like why do you need a one-time phone charger? To be fair, someone in the comments was like, "Oh yeah, these are like a godsend at like festivals or something or concerts." And I'm like, okay, I can kind of see it, but then someone followed up being like, "Oh yeah, the ones we had were made out of cardboard, so they're more disposable or something," which I'm not really sure if that helps too much because there's still circuitry in there. But I mean, I guess the outer shell being cardboard probably makes more sense than plastic. But at the same time, I'm just kind of like, why do you need a portable? Why do you need a disposable phone charger? Why not just have it be rechargeable? Is it like, because something in my mind, I'm not an expert in electronics, so I don't know how true this is, but if it's the reason you wouldn't necessarily have something be rechargeable is if it's like it gets used up, right? Like I'm trying to think like the batteries sometimes, like all batteries are not necessarily rechargeable because they work on like a chemical reaction, right, to produce this current. But that's not how modern phone chargers work nowadays. They work in a capacitive sense. They have like presumably a load of capacitors or some sort of, like more simply, they have some sort of electrical bank of energy which they store things in, and presumably that's exactly how these chargers work as well, unless they do work on like an acid basis like a battery, which would be crazy. I think they would charge very slowly if they did that, but don't quote me on that. They must have some form of like holding capacity because chips and like capacitors are probably getting cheaper and cheaper by the day. It's probably a lot easier to do so, and they had to be charged up in the first place, right? So they have a capability to be recharged. So these things only exist because they couldn't be bothered to put on like a more user-friendly way to recharge it, so they can be used once and then just left. That seems absurd. Can they even be made much more cheaply than like just like a really tiny rechargeable charger would do? If anything, I feel like that makes more sense to have a really tiny rechargeable one or something as a battery bank. Why would you need like it's like a crazy one-time use thing. Like I know in the wake of I suppose environmental waste being quite a prevalent thing, there are some pushes here and there to try and get rid of like such disposable things and replace them with things which are either when disposed of can be broken down easily, recyclable, or something which is multi-use. And honestly, I do tend to favour more multi-use things, and unsurprisingly, like it's nice to be able to use things multiple times. That's kind of a point of it. And people have like a love-hatred, I suppose, well, mainly hatred, I think, for things like paper straws, which I never hated particularly much, mind you. I think definitely when they started out they were pretty terrible, but now they're like fine. If anything, it should be more of an indication that maybe I should actually go buy a metal straw to actually bring around to places or something. But then it's also like, I'm going to carry a metal straw around in my pocket? No. In my bag? Maybe. So yeah, I don't know what I was going to really say about this except for the fact that it's interesting to have that even as like a concept. Why, even conceptually, why would you have a disposable battery bank just like that? Like, because to me, if it was if you had something disposable, you would have like a disposable straw. You like use it and then it's like done. It's like broken down or whatever. Who knows exactly specifics of it? But like a battery bank has electronics in it which need specialist like disposal places. It's not like you can just chuck it in a recycle bin, or you can't. It's not like a compost bin where you can just chuck it in a compost heap and it will just like break down or something. Well, I mean it will, I guess, over a span of like 200 years or something like that. I don't know the exact details, but I'm just like, what? You know, why is that a thing? And also, to be fair, I've also never seen them, but maybe it's because I don't really go to many musical festivals. So perhaps it's not really my place to be like, oh yeah, these don't exist. But it just seems like a strange thing. I'm trying to think of other like one-time use like disposable things I've seen, which I'm just like, these are like supremely pointless. Like, what's the point of having it and just sort of tossing it? Like, some things make sense to be disposable, like tissues. Like, you don't like. I know it sounds like such a dumb thing to say, but it's true. But like, you don't want to reuse a tissue. I mean, handkerchiefs, I guess you can. I never really got that though. Like, you can reuse a handkerchief, but then like you had to carry around like a snotty handkerchief or something, and then I guess you had to wash it in a washing machine or something to be able to rinse it off properly. But you know, saying that out loud, I guess I do kind of get it. But also, I don't know, something about it sort of just irks me the wrong way. Perhaps there's sort of like a latent germophobia or something in there, which is like I don't want to carry around like a snotty cloth or something in my pocket. But again, maybe that is probably just like a whatchamacallit, that's me on my high horse, if anything. Whoa, Neopets is down for maintenance. That's crazy. I didn't even know Neopets could be down for maintenance, to be perfectly honest. Surprising. Yeah, what was I going to say? Okay, well, I can't do my dailies, I suppose. What other sort of like one-time disposable, like, okay, disposable cutlery. I think nowadays a disposable cutlery is made out of things which actually break down pretty well, and that actually has always worked pretty well. Like these wooden, like recycled ones, which sort of, I don't know, presumably become like food mulch or something after like half a year in a compost heap or something, which that seems pretty reasonable. Like I'll be honest, I haven't seen plastic cutlery for ages, and honestly the wooden ones kind of work better than the plastic ones a lot of the time. Like, is that crazy to say? Or like bamboo or whatever it's made out of. What would be best? Yeah, to have like actual like metal ones which you can use for a lifetime, and then no one would have to make these cutlery things whatsoever. But you know, it's also like I understand the use of it. The point of these disposable things is so you don't have to carry like the actual reusable thing all the time. Some things it makes sense to carry reusably, like a water bottle, because I mean water is a pretty reasonable thing to carry around a lot. Or like, oh, what else is a good example? I'm not sure, like a pen or something. Something that's you're likely to use a lot. But like cutlery is not something that you really need to carry around with you all the time. Like even if you're out, like at worst you're gonna have like 2 meals or something. So I understand the use case of cutlery, and like it's not like I'm not trying to intentionally be obtuse and be like, what's the point of cutlery? That seems so pointless. Everyone should just carry around like reusable cutlery with them, because it's also like that's not practical. While you know certainly that would be the ideal situation, you got to face the reality of like who's gonna do that. And if I search my heart and I know it to be true, but I'm like, yeah, I don't know if I would even do that. Maybe I would. Like if I could. I think it's. I don't have anything particularly against it. It's just like, I suppose the use case is not something that comes up particularly often when I'm out and about being like, oh, I really need some cutlery right now. Most of the time if I'm going out to eat, I go to a place. Okay, it would have to be I go to a place which is not even I don't have cutlery. Like I have the option to use not that disposable cutlery. Because a lot of times when we go out to eat, we'll go to a place which is like a restaurant, and then we'll get like metal cutlery, obviously, which they can wash, because that makes sense for a restaurant. Because they're, you know, you're not going anywhere. You're not gonna like not bring back their utensils. but it makes, I suppose, less sense on something like a takeaway, where there's a decent chance that you don't bring back a utensil. I think like the overhead on my cost must be wild, because it's actually quite common for pubs to give you like glass, obviously glasses, for drinking things, but like a lot of the times, in pubs especially in London, get very, very crowded. A lot of times you might just like stand outside or something, or across the street, or like can gather around somewhere else to it, and there's just, I guess, an expectation to return it, which is a nice thing to do. But I wonder if how often people just end up taking things from there, which seems like kind of rude and also a bit pointless, because it really is just a blank glass, There's not really much to it, but so be it. Yeah, I forgot what else I was going to say about it. Disposable plates, that I see as well. When I think of like disposable plates, I think of like parties or something. When you're like, I don't know, imagine you're like serving, not like at like a wedding or a reception or something, but like I'm trying to think like a office party or something. You get a load of like recyclable plates or something to have for people, because these are things which, like, if you use porcelain or whatever, it just gets like smashed completely. I guess you could use plastic, to be fair, and that's what like I had a picnic set, which we always use these plastic reusable plates. Man, that picnic set must have been used like dozens, millions of times. Okay, maybe not millions, that's a bit much, but it must have been probably nearing 100 times or something of usage of these plates over and over again, and that's pretty reasonable, I would say. I guess it's part of it's like just sort of buying a multi-pack as well. It's a lot easier and cheaper to buy like a multi-pack of 100 like recyclable plates rather than 100 plastic reusable ones which don't have a chance of breaking. Definitely way cheaper than buying like 100 porcelain plates or whatever like equivalent material. Stretch. Yeah, I don't know what I was going to say about that. I guess the long and short of it is it's crazy to me, the concept of a one-time use battery charger, which is not made from like acid water. Maybe it was made from an acid battery. Oh, sorry. That's me. I was opening Notion because I was like, I have a D&D session tomorrow, so I need to make sure that I planned everything as it should be. I'm pretty sure I know what's going to happen, to be honest, and what the players are likely to do, but they might not, they might do, who knows. My players do have a way of surprising me sometimes. Yeah. But I don't know, like disposable, one-time use, hold on, how much cheaper at one-time use battery, like phone charger? Pop charger, £5 for 500 mega amp hours. And hold on, shopping, Amazon, battery bank, and it's a £13 for a rechargeable one for 5 times the capacity. Like, I just don't get it. £10, like you. It's on £7, it's 10,000 milliamp hours. It's like, what? How can it? How? Do you get me? I'm just sort of like, what? How? How can it be like this? How can any of it be like this? Just what could possibly be the use case for all of these things, I'm just I feel like I'm sort of losing my mind. About any of this. Yeah. I don't know where I'm going with any of this, but still. I'm just like, what? Emergency mobile phone charger. Okay, that I can see. Like, if you need it in an emergency, you just like leave it somewhere and you'd be like, okay, I need to use this now. But I'll be honest, a lot of these just kind of look like regular battery chargers. They just can't be recharged or something. You must. Maybe to give it like the benefit of doubt, they have like a they're easier to like retain the charger we have, but I don't know. It's like a contingency, I suppose, an emergency plan. Yeah. I don't know. It's I don't know. It's just that seems like pointless, I suppose. Maybe there is a use case for it, but I can't. I guess I sort of fail to see the use case where you wouldn't just use a regular rechargeable battery pack instead of one like that. And I guess the only use case would be if it is something which somehow retains charge even longer. That's, I don't know. One-time use. What? Okay, let's see. One-time use. One-time use object. What is a one-time use disposable battery pack? I think that's kind of like plastic food trays. Okay, that's fair. To be fair, I think a lot of the times now, places are doing like these recyclable ones, but not made from plastic anymore. Like they'll be made from like some sort of recycled papery cardboardy material, which is definitely a lot better. Because I suppose if you want to take away food at some point, you're gonna have to use it. You're gonna have to give some sort of container, right? Unless we start bringing our own containers around. I don't know. That could be kind of interesting. It just become a very normal thing to bring like your own Tupperware box with your own cutlery and straws and cups inside. And then whenever you go food, you go to a place and if you give them your container, then they fill it up for you or something. And then it's like by weight. I don't know. Maybe that place already exists. Probably doesn't have a good market because a lot of people probably don't really want to carry around their own sort of Tupperware container for food. And I guess that kind of makes sense. Only what I mean to say is, one-time use battery bank. This seems insane. It seems ridiculous. It seems crazy. Okay, cameras. One-time use cameras. Nowadays, I think are a little bit pointless, but one-time use film at least kind of makes sense. Because you're making a literal physical object, like it has to kind of be one-time use, and it's not exactly, it's more of a novel thing now rather than a practicality, I suppose. Anyway, on that note, I'm going to wrap this episode up here. I don't know what I'm talking about. So if you have been watching, thank you very much. It's been Animal Crossing New Horizons. I've been Dear Darling. Likes, comments, subscription, shares, greatly appreciated. Socials, Discord down below. Hope to see each other again, but for now, it's our farewell. So until next time, bye-bye for now.